Hello students, in this session I will be covering Annamalai University's MBA first year subject Principles of Management. In this session I will be covering Unit 5, that is lessons 17 to lesson 20. Lesson 17, Decision Making. Okay, what do you mean by decision making? Decision making is one of the most important functions of a manager is to take. Okay, so and he has to take decisions on a day-to-day basis for a short term, for a day, or a short-term basis or a long-term basis. Whatever a manager does, he does through decision making, and he has to be supported by enough facts and figures for taking decision making. So management information system, that is computerized system through which he can take some decisions. Okay, most of the decision, because his decision should be supported by some facts and figures, because the higher authority can ask him what on what basis he has taken the decision. So he has to have some supporting documents for that. Each managerial decision is concerned with the process of decision making. It is because of this pervasiveness of decision making that Professor Herbert Simon has said the process of managing as a process of decision making. Okay, according to him, a post or position cannot be said to be managerial level until and unless the right of decision making is attached to it. So decision making makes it a particular position in the organization as a managerial or a lower one. Okay, so now decision making is a mental process. It is a process of selecting one best alternative for doing a work. There could be many alternatives for doing a particular work, but choosing among them or those decisions is a crucial thing, so which the manager has to make. Okay, in the words of Haynes and Macy, a decision is a course of action which is consciously chosen for achieving a desired result by the manager. You can say call it by the manager. Okay, because usually managers in an organization, managers has to take decisions. Now characteristics of decision making. It is a process of choosing a course of action. It is a human process involving largely the application of intellectual abilities. It is the end process preceded by deliberation and reasoning. So there should be some reasoning based on facts and figures should be available. It is always related to the environment. Environment is nothing but the business environment. It involves a time dimension and a time blank. So certainly there should be a time factor involved in decision making. It always has a purpose. So purpose is nothing but for something it has to be done. Okay, it involves all actions likely defining the problem and probing and analyzing the various alternatives which take place before a final choice is made. Okay, importance of decision making. Decision making is an essential part of every function of management. So whatever a manager does, he does through decision making. There are various steps in decision making process. First is setting the objectives of the organization, or what to do should be set. Okay, everything is for the organization. Defining the problem. First of all, the manager has to find out what the problem is. Without defining it or without having a problem in hand, you cannot find a solution to it. Analyzing the problem needs to be analyzed. Okay, after defining the problem, it has to be analyzed for finding out what the real issue is. Then developing alternatives. Alternative is nothing but alternative solutions for it. More than one solution needs to be find out. Then selecting the best alternative among the solutions he has decided, or not finally decided, but he has in hand. Among that, one alternative solution, one solution needs to be selected for implementation, then implementing the decision. So whatever alternative decision he has taken, it has to be implemented. Okay, and before taking the decision, alternative decision, he has to check the facts and figures before arriving at the solution, because he could be questioned at a later point if in case his decision is fired, so or failed. Okay, so it could be why he has taken such a decision. So based on some facts and figures which has been decided, he could say that because of due to these reasons he has decided or taken a decision like this. Follow up the decisions. So he has to check whether whatever decision he has taken or implemented is right at every point of time. If the decision is a good one will know what to do if faced with the same problem again. If the decision is a bad one will know what not to do the next time. If the decision is a bad and one follows up soon enough, corrective action may be possible. So that's why follow-up decisions should be made. Now, types of decisions: programmed and non-programmed decisions. Professor Herbert Simon has classified all managerial decisions as programmed and non-programmed decisions. He has utilized computer terminology in classifying decisions. Basic and routine decisions. It's all day-to-day decisions. These are all day-to-day. Basic and routine decisions are all day-to-day decisions taken by the manager. Policy and operative decision. All decisions made on the basis of policy and operational related matters are called as policy and operative decisions. Individual and group decision. Decisions taken by individuals are called as individual decisions, and group decisions are made by forming groups, or groups are taking group decisions. These are the things covered in lesson 17, decision making. Now to lesson 18. Now before going to lesson 18, you can get a question: what do you mean by decision making? What are its characteristics, or explain its characteristics, or what are its importance, etc. You can get a question from this lesson 17. Now to lesson 18, approaches of decision making. You are saying what you mean by decision making. Okay, and there are the various decision making approach. One is common sense approach. So common sense approach is about exercising sound and prudent judgment based on a simple perception of the situation or facts. That's what I like to tell you. Situation, assessing the situation and the facts related to the situation. Scientific approach. Scientific approach of decision making viewed as systematic approach to collecting facts and applying logical decision techniques. Rational approach. Rational or analytical approach exemplified by a step-by-step decision making. This approach defines success factors upfront, seeks information and logically looks at how each alternative meets each success factor. Operations research for decision making, or operations research concerns the use of scientific, often mathematical method for planning problems. So operations research can be used for decision making. These are the things covered in lesson 18, approaches of decision making. Now to lesson 19, coordination. It is a process of integrating the interdepartmental, that means interdepartmental means nothing but between various departments of an organization. Interdepartmental activities as unified. Unified means one action towards the fulfillment of the predetermined common goals of the organization. So integrating is nothing but connecting together all the departments' activities as one single action towards the fulfillment of predetermined, already decided common goals of the organization. This is called as coordination. Okay, coordination is nothing but putting together all the actions of an organization for the common objective or goals of the organization. Types of coordination. Vertical coordination. It refers to coordination between activities of a manager and his subordinates in a department. Horizontal coordination. It refers to coordination among peers. Peers means about equal employees of the same level. That is, employees working at the same levels in organizational hierarchy and among various departments. Diagonal coordination. It is coordination among the users and between users and service personnel. Principles of coordination. Personal contact. Effective coordination can be achieved through personal contact. Reciprocal relationship. This principle says that all factors in a situation are reciprocally related. That is, each factor influences other factor. Dynamism. Coordination is modified according to the external and internal actions and decisions. That is, coordination should be a dynamic one. That means subject to changes from time to time. Continuity says that coordination is a continuous process. Each and every department's employees should coordinate each other. So it's a continuous process. Self-coordination. According to this principle, for the function of one department affects other departments and in turn is affected by the function of other departments. Clear-cut objectives. As per the principle, the department heads should know clearly the objectives of the department or the organization. That means HOD should know what are the objectives of an organization so that all the departmental activities can be coordinated. Effective communication. Effective communication is very necessary for the proper coordination. If not only effective, timely communication is required. Early stage of starting. The coordination should be started even from the planning function of manager. Planning function is one of the first function of management. Now, importance and need of coordination. Specialization. Specialized activities or diverse activities will be conducted in different departments. Conflicting individual and organizational goals. It is very important for every enterprise to bring out coordination between organizational goals and individual goals. Line and staff structure. As you know, every organization has line and staff structure. The creation of line and staff structure is in an organization also creates problems of coordination. The staff officers may confuse their authority with the line officers. Thus, coordination is necessary between line and staff officers for achieving the goals of enterprise. Personality politics. In every enterprise, rival groups of people can be formed. So, personality politics arises and that should be set aside due to the reason that it should not, the personality politics should not sabotage, that means kill the organizational goals or coordination. Coordination is necessary for increasing efficiency. So coordination ensures a proper tempo for the whole organization. And various techniques of coordination available. That is regarding lesson 19. You can get a question like, what do you mean by coordination, or define coordination? What are the different types of coordination? What are the importance and principles of coordination? What are the techniques of coordination, etc. You may get a question like this. Now to lesson 20, controlling. As you know, controlling is one of the major functions of management. Okay. Now, definition. Control is any process that guides activity towards some predetermined goals. Activity means nothing but organizational activities that needs to be done by the employees of the organization. Thus, control can be applied in any field such as price control, distribution control, pollution control, etc. Our control as an element of management process can be defined as the process of analyzing whether actions are being taken as planned and taken corrective actions to make these to conform to planning. Thus, control process tries to find out deviations between planned performance and actual performance. This is to suggest corrective actions wherever required or wherever needed, because a deviation from planned performance and actual performance can create problems for the organization. Controlling and other functions. Planning as the basis. For controlling is planning. The first step of the managerial function is planning. Planning and controlling relationship. Various elements of planning provide what is intended and expected and the means by which the goals are achieved. So planning is the basic function to controlling. Without planning, there should not be any controlling possible. Action and the essence. Control basically emphasizes what actions can be taken to correct the deviation that may be found between standards and actual results. Standards is nothing but the planned performance and the actual performance. Delegation as the key. Delegation is the key for control to take place, because control action can be taken only by the managers who are responsible for performance, but who have authority to get the things done by his subordinates. So manager has to delegate things or tasks or activities to his subordinates, and he controls the activities of the subordinates by giving proper guidance, mentoring, coaching, teaching, etc. from time to time. And also he has to take corrective actions if an employee or employees or his subordinates under his jurisdiction or under his control take some actions that is not required or necessary for controlling or for the working of or completion of certain activities entrusted to him or her. Information as a guide. Any information, control action is guided by adequate information from beginning to end. So in order to have adequate information, proper planning is required. Importance of control. Adjustment in operation. Operation means day-to-day activities needs to be adjusted, for which control is required. Policy verification. Various policies of the organization needs to be verified so that proper decisions can be or proper controlling can be made. Managerial responsibility. It is the managerial responsibility or the manager's authority to take control of the actions of his departments and subordinates. Psychological pressure. Control process puts a psychological pressure on the individuals for better performance. Coordination in action. That means if there is no coordination, there is an inactivity happening inside the organization. So that needs to be controlled at the earliest, so that proper coordination and controlling can be implemented in the actions or activities. Organizational efficiency and effectiveness. Proper control ensures organizational efficiency and effectiveness. Various factors of control, namely making managers responsible, motivating them for higher performance and achieving coordination in their performance. Steps in controlling. Establishment of control standards. So proper control standards should be established first, and it should be made known to all employees of the organization. Measurement of performance. The performance of each and every employee or subordinate should be measured periodically, so that any deviations from the required performance can be taken through corrective actions. Comparing actual and standard performance. So whatever standard performance which has been already known or planned and kept should be matched with the actual performance, so that any deviations that has been resulted can be made corrected. Correction of deviations. So correction of deviations can be done if there is a proper control by matching that standard performance required versus the actual performance. Now, essentials of effective control system: reflecting organizational needs. So every action should be based on the achievement of organizational goals or needs. Forward looking, it should be always forward looking. So forward looking is nothing but looking into the future activities or future goals of the or objectives of the organization, or on how to achieve those objectives and common goals of the organization, for which proper control is required. And this control is done by the managers of the various departments of the organization through coordinated effectiveness. Promptness in reporting deviation. So whatever deviation has been observed should be reported with promptness. That means without any delay. Pointing out exceptions at critical points. So if there are any exceptional situations happening at various critical points of work or activities or tasks in the organization, that needs to be brought to the notice of the higher authority, and proper control systems can be implemented for making such or controlling such deviations. Objectives. So objectives of the organization should be of prime importance in taking proper control. Flexible. Timely flexibility should be made available for taking deviational changes or as required, changes as required if there is any deviations observed between standard performance and actual performance. Economical. Control should be economical and must be worth its cost. So the cost should not shoot up for controlling any deviations observed. So it should not go beyond the expected cost factor. Simple. Control system must be simple and understandable so that all managers can use it effectively. Motivating. Control system should motivate both controller and controlled. Okay, the manager and the subordinate. Controller is the manager and the controlled is the subordinate employee. Reflecting organizational pattern. The control should reflect organizational pattern by focusing attention on positions in organizational structure through which deviations are corrected. So these are the things covered in lesson 20, controlling. You may get questions regarding what is control, what explain its characteristics of control, what are the importance and principles of controlling, etc. And you can get a question regarding essentials of effective control system. Explain the essentials of effective control system. Can be asked. Okay, thank you very much. Happy learning.